Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to cover the BITFENIX Nova Mesh case in white combination, in white color, and we're going to add, while testing, of course, we need top two fans for the exhaust, so we're going to add two BITFENIX Spectre addressable RGB fans, 120mm. Also for the GPU, and not to sag or to have problems with sagging, we're going to use the Alchemy 3.0 addressable RGB GPU bracket as well. So it's kind of cool combination with everything, and it's going to look really nice just because the case has some huge potential. And when I say huge potential, this is how it starts. Now we have the tempered glass, which always looks better than plexi, of course, but here is the thing. On the front you can place 280 or 360mm radiator. You already have three 120mm fans which are addressable RGB, and you can easily just add the radiator. On top you can place 240mm radiator and or two 120mm fan. At the back you have one more 120mm fan which is also addressable RGB. So basically with the case, which is kind of really nice, front meshed part, which is great for airflow, you get four 120mm addressable RGB fans. Now next to that, the whole case is white except for the corners of the tempered glass, which could be done in white as well, which would make the whole build whole, if you know what I'm saying. But I won't go into that detail because the whole case is basically really astonishing. When it comes to front panel, you have two 3.5mm jacks, one for your headset and one for your microphone. You have two 3.0 USB, and you have the reset and shut down or power on button. However, now that's for the front panel. Unfortunately no Type-C, but then again it's I would say a budget case with loads of possibilities and huge ventilation. You have front meshed part, whole front meshed part. You have top magnetic dust filter, which is very easy cleanable, and you have bottom beneath the power supply, which is also magnetic. So let's go and dive inside the case and check all the other details. Removing the tempered glass by removing 4 thumb screws, you get the inside look of the case, which is really astonishing. Basically just because, first of all, just because it's all white, so there's no black accent except for the rubber grommets for the 24-pin cables. On the side near the fans you can place two 2.5-inch SSDs, which immediately have rubber grommets, so you could just reroute the cables very nicely. Unfortunately, looking at it like this, it means that 24-pin cable that goes to your motherboard can be placed directly and can be horizontally lined with the rubber grommets and the opening in the chassis. It does need to go a bit below, but nothing extreme. Fascinating thing about the case is it can support ITX, micro ATX, ATX and eATX motherboards. Basically this is really cool because eATX can go up to 272mm or 10.7 inches. Now removing the back side of the case, the back panel of the case, is by removing and untying the 2 thumb screws that you have on that side. Not too many cables, basically you just have the front panel right here and you have 2 cables for each fan. The best thing about it, what they did with the fans, they immediately have splitters, so you can immediately connect all the fans to one single cable and then just reroute or get an extension and pin them to your motherboard. At the bottom you have nice space, enough space for your power supply, rerouting the cables. And when we're talking about the hard drive cage, you have 2 hard drive cages right here below, and one of them contains the, let's say, accessory bag, which has additional standoff screws for your motherboard and additional thumb screw, what's this, zip ties, and that's basically it. There's nothing extra. You do get in the case your manual, which does have loads of information about the case and everything that you could do with it. how to place it, how to connect it. And at the back you also have one more bracket for your 2.5-inch SSD. When it comes to placing the 2.5-inch SSD next to your motherboard, you can place them here at the back or at the front, depending on how you wish and where you wish to place them. And well, that's basically it. So let's place a build inside, check out the temperatures and see where it goes. This time I went a bit further and basically left the heavy loader on the CPU for 25 minutes just because I wanted to see will the temperatures go even higher. Now you notice that this is the AMD Ryzen 7 3700X and I placed the Site Fuma 2 CPU tower cooler on it just to get, I don't know, everybody can place a water cooling kit or AIO or something like that and cool the processor down significantly. This time I wanted to go with air cooler just because I don't know, I want to get some sort of a real temperatures, for instance. And this case has huge intake. Basically it has the whole front mesh, that's why it's called Nova Mesh. I have 3 fans on front which are stock that come with the case. You have 2 as outtake and 1 as well as outtake. But let's talk about temperatures. So 25 minutes on heavy loader, there was 100% constant usage. Load, whatever you want to call it, and the temperatures were up to 55 and that was it. 55 Celsius degrees on AMD Ryzen 7 3700X in this case. Now as I said, you could always put an AIO and get an even better cooling, but 55 on air on this kind of strong processor, so 8 cores 16 threads, is amazing. The GPU, well honestly, this is RTX 2060 and in every single case that we place it was 65 to 70 degrees, and basically with this kind of airflow I didn't even bother getting the temperatures for this because honestly you have a clear intake on front, and that's why I love this case. Just check this out. The front panel is basically all mesh, so it has full clear airflow going from the front and blowing through the whole case because you have here, here and here 120 millimeter. 2 fans actually blow directly to the graphic card and 2 fans, because it's right in the middle, and 2 fans are blowing directly to the CPU tower cooler. So constant amount of fresh air is going to the main components that cool the chips, which is excellent. It has loads of space. You could place an E80X motherboard. As you see, I have the X570 Godlike inside from MSI. I placed the bracket here, BITFENIX 3.0 Alchemy GPU bracket, and it has an addressable RGB which you could nicely connect to your motherboard or to your splitter and just synchronize everything. And I placed it this kind of whitish, bluish, light blue, for instance, just to get the whole light blue white combination. So guys, yeah, I'm really satisfied. The final design is great. Everything is on thumb screws. You can basically everything do very easy. The only thing that you have to actually use a screwdriver is for the power supply, for the GPU and for the fans, and that's it. So guys, yeah, links are below for BITFENIX Nova Mesh, and I'll put for the 3.0 Alchemy addressable RGB bracket, so you can check that out as well on the links in the description. Thank you for watching. This was BITFENIX Nova Mesh video review, test, benchmark, whatever you want to call it. See you next time in a new video. Bye bye.